Welcome to Season 3 of The Biz Show, sponsored by Invest Choir. Discover what's next with this insightful podcast. And now, your hosts, Barry and Lisa.
Good morning, Barry.
Good morning, Lisa.
Barry.
How are you?
Oh, we're both in sync today. I'm doing great. Happy Friday.
It is a Friday, and it's nice and sunny out, but lots of clouds.
Yeah, it's cloudy here too. But the sun breaks out later.
Yes, it does.
Well, July's coming to an end over here, and the year is just ticking by.
It is. It is. It's hard to believe that half of the year is almost over already.
Yeah, I was telling my team that Q4 is upon us soon, very soon.
Well, Q3 is just a couple days away for sure. And
Yeah.
Q4 is, hey, we've got a bunch of holidays. And Q4 is always the worst quarter, right?
I say this because I walk into the stores and I see Halloween. And I'm
I
like,
know.
what? Are you kidding me right now?
It's funny that you say that because Tammy and I were in the store this weekend and yeah, there was Halloween decorations out. And we're like, already? It's not even July yet.
Yeah, and that's why I think Q4, because once it hits, September, I mean, it's just over. The year's
Yeah.
over.
Ta-
It's
Tammy's
just
like,
so fast. Everything goes fast.
Tammy was like, we can't have Halloween yet because she likes Christmas in July with all the Hallmark movies and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
And she's like,
Aw.
I got, wait, she's getting confused.
I love the month of July because it's my birthday month. And there's just so many fun things to do in the summertime with all of the daylight hours that we have. So I don't like when July goes by fast.
Yeah. Well,
Some,
there's another important thing about July, especially if you do work with the government, right? So July is the beginning of the fiscal year for the federal government and a lot of
right?
governments.
Yes,
So that's the start of their year.
right. It's a very important month.
It is. So if you're doing business with the government, just know that that's when they get their infusion and all their new money.
Yeah. Okay, cool. We like the sound of it.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into this podcast, shall we?
Let's do it, Barry.
So, we've talked about a lot of different things in business and how to set it up and structures, things like that. But let's talk about when you're hiring your first ops person, right? Whether it's a COO or a virtual assistant, how you as an entrepreneur or business owner can really get some of your time back in your hands.
That's a tough one. We struggle with that daily.
Yeah, let's face it, you and I both are entrepreneurs, right? We're co-founders of InvestQuire, and we're busy doing things all the time. And you've started to build some of your staff with your real estate piece of it, and I'm working on starting to build some of our staff for the InvestQuire and my piece, the management consulting piece of it. Um, you know, but how do you get that time back, right? Because we wear so many hats, right? You know,
Yes, it used to be a little bit more simple before we had social media. Now that's taken such a huge amount of our time to integrate into the marketing that's available there for a lot of business owners, just at your fingertips for free. And so that's a full-time job. And that's another hat that you have to think about and wear and constantly stay ahead of the competition with
y-
regards to marketing.
yes, you mentioned that, and that's something that I think maybe in season 2 we might have touched the surface on that in social media and how to use it, but
Yeah.
definitely a dynamic shift in business management, right? Where now social media is really taking a forefront of your marketing and advertising space.
Right. It used to be commercials. We would sit on the couch and we would have our little paper TV guide and we'd pick out a show and then we'd get to watch these commercials that sort of integrated into our subconscious mind and influenced our decision on how to buy things. And now it's in front of our face 24/7.
Oh my God, Lisa, you bring up some old memories. I remember back in the 80s and the 90s of
I know.
actually writing, you know, magazine ads,
Yeah,
radio commercials, newspaper ads. And, we didn't really do any TV. TV was, well, so we did a couple local TV spots, so on and so forth. But, oh, and all that now is kind of gone by the wayside.
I know. Nobody's sitting on a couch. We're all moving or distracted with our phones.
I remember sitting down in the mornings with my cup of coffee and reading the newspaper.
Yeah. I know. I love the smell of a brand new newspaper.
Now I still drink my coffee in the mornings, but now I'm on the websites looking at the news stories online,
Right. YouTube, videos, all of it.
making sure
Yeah. So
the world is still out there.
with all of that constant feed of information, we are getting brain burnout. Really just drains you. What do they say? The blue light that is filtering through our technology is kind of zapping us all day long.
Yeah, we need to work on that and figure out how to circumvent that. You know, um, I think it was maybe 3, 4 episodes back we talked about something, and it just popped in my head while you're talking. We've got all this information just coming at us from different directions,
Yeah.
and you know, hard drives get bigger and our cell phone memory gets bigger, but our brain doesn't get any bigger,
No.
right? It's got a certain amount of memory that it can keep. And then after a while, you're going to purge stuff out, right? Typically, when you go to sleep, you'll purge and forget stuff, by the wayside. So
Yes.
at some point, we got to figure, I have no answers to this, but we got to figure out how do we make that all work, especially with now everything in your face.
Yeah, you just have to put it down, Barry. You have to unplug, take 10 minutes and just stop working and stop looking and stop chatting and texting and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we just have to unplug. You got to put your feet in the grass or in the sand, whatever works for you.
Yeah, definitely. Well,
Yeah.
anyways,
Okay, let's
back to
go.
this. How do founders or business owners not get burned out, right? And most founders, as I said, we do everything, right? Sales, marketing, sales, ops, hiring, strategy. And then, of course, there's always a fire to put out. Customers are complaining or your supplier didn't show up in time, whatever the case might be. So you've got all those issues to deal with.
Yes, that is true.
What's the
So,
what's the bottleneck here?
well, it's you. You have to implement new systems in order to prevent the burnout, right?
Right, that's it. The founder, you're the bottleneck, right? So
Ah,
we got to try to solve that bottleneck. And how are you going to solve that bottleneck? Well, really, you want to start bringing in help.
yes.
You want to
So,
start working on your business instead of working in your business.
yes, I was told that from very early on in my career. Don't get stuck working in it. You got to work on it with a perspective and a mind shift.
Sometimes I get caught up in that too. I mean, I'm guilty. I can get
Well,
caught
like
up real easy, right?
we mentioned, the computer, it just sucks you in, and before you know it, you lost a whole day, right? And you just sit there working in it, and you think, oh wow, I was so productive. But when you're working in it, you could be losing out on potential lead generation, time, sales, making new relationships outside of the office, and things like that.
Right. And I'm anal and I'm detail orientated. So I'm really looking at all the little teeny pieces and putting them all together and making sure everything fits.
Yes,
When,
exactly.
so sometimes I get caught in that minutia that just slows me down.
So what do we need? We need an ops person, right?
We do need an op person. And what is an ops person, right? It could be something as simple as a virtual assistant to a COO and anywhere in between.
Yes, that's right. I mean, there's a lot of virtual assistants that come forth, and you think, wow, this could be a great help to my business practices daily. But I think there's a little bit of a disconnect. I mean, it may not work for everyone. I think maybe you need somebody more hands-on and visibly present. So,
Well, yes, and what you need to think about is when you're looking at this person, you know, go back real fast and audit yourself and look at all the things that you do, right?
The
And
list.
what's, yeah,
Yeah.
make a list, right? Do an audit, make a list, take a look at your hours and see, what is taking up most of your time. And guess what? That really becomes a job description of the ops person you're going to hire,
Right.
right?
There you go. Yeah, you might need to hire one or two people, depending
You
on
might.
how long your list is. And then you got to create the system. So that's a job right there. I mean, that's something that I'm working on, creating the systems and putting that in like a manual of some sort so that when you hire somebody, it's all written there. You don't need to sit side by side perhaps and do the training. So that's a very key component.
It is a very key component. And I would suggest this as the business owner, you think up the business systems, but or the systems, but then that ops person should execute them and put them into practice,
Correct.
right?
Yes, exactly.
So when you're hiring that person, you're looking for that person, right? Think about a person who's an operations manager, or somebody who can really dive in, right? They can help implement things for you, right? They can manage your vendors or contractors. They can help you with building those systems, doing maybe some of the research that you're not sure about. You can pass that off to them, let them go find all that, bring it back, and then the two of you can brainstorm and away you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's wonderful to watch. Anthony is the ops manager of our team, Barry, and he just is like executing all day long and just taking that initiative and taking the bull by the horns and just running with it. And I've been watching that trait just develop, and it's just amazing. So when you have an ops person that's great, I mean, it takes so much load off of the manager, the owner's shoulders and mind. Your mind can clear up and focus on other tasks and things that are more important. So definitely get a key person that is able to do that without having to ask you first. You don't want them to be coming to you all the time asking for permission. Can I do this? Should I do this? They should just be, filling those shoes and just running with it.
Yes, exactly, right. And so what are some of the things that you should, have tasks that you should assign to them and have them do, right? Um, there are a lot of different things, but what are some of the things that really stick out, I think?
Management, right? Managing employees. Uh,
Managing employees, document process, moving documents, answering emails, um, correlating wants and needs, working with vendors, a little bit of everything, right?
yes, whatever shows up in the day, they just handle it for you, right? They
Right.
don't bother you with it. It's sort
Well,
of
that's the thing. And that's where I suggest don't hire a warm body, because a warm body, then you have to manage them on a regular
correct.
basis, right?
Yes.
So instead, hire somebody who is an expert at what they do, right? I always look for somebody who's better than me when I
Yeah.
hire somebody, right? This is one of the things that I've done it from GE on, is I always look for people who are smarter than me, and somebody who can really just take the, as you said, the bull by the horns and run with it. And then we'll just follow up.
Yeah. You want a problem solver,
Yeah.
right? That could
Yes.
just figure things out. And maybe they are doing it better than you, right, Barry? Maybe they have a style that is so much more effective than you as the owner. Because your strengths are in other areas, maybe bringing in the business or making new relationships and having, key contacts and conversations and meetings. But this ops person is just like putting like kind of like just putting all the pieces together for you in the background.
Exactly, and I have my strengths and I have my weaknesses, right? To me, my weaknesses are sales. And I say sales in the sense that I'm not the guy to go out cold calling and stuff like that, right? But I am the creative thinker, and I can put all these plans in place and strategize and create the marketing materials and all that. But, when it comes time to the execution, that part is really better left to somebody else.
Right. Yeah, that's good
You
to
know,
recognize it too as a manager owner because you want to make sure that you know what your strengths are so that you're focusing on those activities and then that's really where the results will come in. But if you're thinking that you're great in another area and you're really not, then that's going to be a poor management result, for your company.
Right. I'm excellent in management consulting, business, and tech, right? Management, business, and tech. Those are my strengths.
Yeah. So
So,
what, the tip is, don't wait until you're drowning, like really kind of, dial that in what your strengths are so that you can hire somebody that fills in the gap where you're not, efficient.
yes, that's just it. Because by the time you're drowning, you're already circling the bowl, right? Working your way down. So,
Yeah.
a lot of times when you're at that point, 80% of the people are not going to make it
Yeah.
because
Yeah. They're
there's
going to
just too
feel
much
the
going on.
stress.
They're going to get burnt out and feel the stress, and they're going to give up. This is too hard. I'm walking away.
Right. You're losing clients, you're losing opportunities when you're in that zone of being overwhelmed. You're not having the right mindset. You're working 60, 70 hours a week, which is probably not the most effective hours that you're putting in because you're just exhausted and you're pretty much burnt out. That's when you got the burnout happening, right?
Right, right. Well, so we talked about the ops people, and well, I'll talk about that in a minute. But when you're looking at an ops person, right? We use that term loosely, right? Because as we said, it could be a virtual assistant, it could be a COO. So it's just in that realm of somebody who's going to execute the operations piece of your visions. But where can we find these people? I mean, job boards and stuff like that are out there, the LinkedIn's of the world, um, the Zip Recruiters, the Indeeds, and stuff like that. Those all cost money, right? If you're an employer and you're looking to hire somebody, for me, the best place to find somebody like this is trade shows, right? Or groups. You and I, we go to, a couple business groups that we go to. The one over at Lucille's and stuff like that. And there's some pretty good people in there that we've made friends with. Um, it helps a lot to, reach out to them.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to have a referral from some other trusted source that you know. This way, it will probably, more than likely work out and be a good fit for your company. So yeah, get recommendations from your colleagues in the industry
Yes.
or in other industries. Hmm.
I mean, the three big places that you could look for an ops person is LinkedIn, obviously, right? You can just post a message in the ops operations group, right? The COO group. There's also Ops Society, and there's also the COO Alliance. Those groups, um, they have a lot of COOs out there and stuff like that, but a lot of virtual assistants too. So those are good places to take a look.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, you know, Another thing is how often do you need them, right? Do they need to be a full-time person or a part-time person?
I guess it depends on that list, like how many tasks you want to free up yourself from. And they could start out as part-time. They could start out as an intern that leads to a full-time position.
Yes.
That's another source for maybe getting talent would be at a college, people that need to have internships for their degree. And then, they're ready to execute because they're just usually the younger you are, the more energy you have and the more eager that they are to, um, get experience and be trained and start a career.
Yeah, we did that with UC Fullerton.
Yeah. Hmm.
So, yeah, definitely. And something I want to mention here because some people, I hear people, oh, I'm a fractional COO. What is that, right? Well, it's part-time is what it is, right? It's
Sounds so
either
important.
Yeah, it's I'm a
Or
fractional.
not.
Okay, that's fine. But really it's part-time or it's project based. And so the thing is you as the owner, you get to define what it is, right? Is it part-time? Is it full-time? Is it, per project? And then, you just check them off and away you go. The structure is pretty easy and you're really definable by you.
Right.
So, and maybe, the next thing I would say is grading them. And that's not the right term, but evaluating their performances as they go through, right? I'm a big
Yeah.
proponent of, evaluating it at, at least 60 days, 90 days out, take a look and see what it is, and putting, KPIs in place so that you got something to measure against. And
Right.
you
Yeah.
need to revisit those KPIs to understand that they change, because as you build a position and you say, okay, here's the, and by the way, KPIs is key performance indicators. As you build that and put those in place, they might be too high, they might be too low. You're going to have to adjust them some,
That's right.
right? I've run into,
Definitely. Yeah.
I talked to, I was a couple years back, but I was talking to a person, and she told me, I've hired a couple people and they're just not meeting the KPIs. And we discussed her KPIs. I'm like, well, are those obtainable? Can you do them?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, no, I can't. I says, well, then how can you expect them to do them if you can't do it?
Right. Exactly. I
So
mean,
be
you have to,
realistic with the KPIs,
yes,
right?
definitely.
And then
So what,
just go ahead.
yeah. So what other tasks should we be having them do, or that should an owner be offloading? That's sort of a reason why people don't hire an ops, because they're like, I don't even know what I would have them do. There's just so many things.
Well,
And so what are those tasks?
they those tasks are well, really, you can have them help you build the business, right? They can do sales, they can do production, they can help you strategize. Um, yeah, it's real. As I said, if you evaluate your time and you see the things that are sucking up most of your time, those are the things you can have them do right there.
Hmm.
So just because you are an expert in something, that's fine. Um, and when you hire somebody, you might need to coach them a little bit and teach them how you want it done, because you and your business are heading a certain direction. But at some point, take the training wheels off, step back, and let them go.
Right. I mean, a lot of owners, I'm guilty of it myself, have a hard time of letting go, have a hard time of, I guess, the trust factor, or feeling like your business is gonna suffer if you let some of those tasks go and you're not doing them yourself. But you're gonna have to just take a deep breath and toss the baton to your ops person and just watch, like you said, do an evaluation in 60, 90 days, and just see how it unfolds. You have to give it that time.
The chaos will fade, right? you know,
Yeah.
the first thing is most people put their best foot forward in the beginning, number one, and then everything's always chaotic in the beginning. The dust settles, and people get into a rhythm and emotion, and they're comfortable with, and then away you go.
There you go. Yeah.
So let's, well, it's time really just wrap things up, right? But um, a couple things I want to make mention, right? Don't wait too long, right? As you said earlier at the beginning of the podcast, don't burn yourself out, and don't wait till it's too late,
Right.
right? And always try to hire for problem solving, right? You got problems, let's get that problem solved.
Exactly. Definitely want somebody that has that strength.
Right. There's a good book out there called Rocket Fuel by Gino Wickman. It's a really good book on really building your business, period. And they're not sponsored by them or anything. It's funny because it's a book I just purchased not too long ago, and I need to sit down and start reading it myself. But I've gone through a couple things, and I really like what they're having to say, and it seems to be upfront and honest.
Nice. Yeah. Let's check it out. Reminds me of Elton John, Rocket Man.
Oh, there you go, Rocket Man.
Yeah. So
Um,
yeah, that's a good one.
And then I'll throw out a sample job description for an ops manager for
Oh,
people
perfect.
people to take a look at, and I'll put it on our Facebook page, um, so that people can download it and just
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea. I love
yeah.
it. Yeah, we're here to help you guys. So any way that we can, you can always reach out to Barry Bestfitch or Lisa Manifold through Facebook. We also have a website, investchoir.com. And then we have a Facebook page called The Biz Show as well.
Yes. Please, please, please subscribe.
Our numbers going up, Barry. I keep telling people, hit the subscribe button.
Our numbers are going up. Last time I think we spoke, we were at almost 22,000.
Oh, cool.
We're at 28 now.
Yeah, well, I get those notifications when people hit our page, our InvestWire page on Facebook or the Biz Show page. And so it's nice to see people are checking us out.
They are collectively through all of our syndication of the podcasts at Spotify, Apple, and Amazon and stuff like that. 28,000 listeners.
Wow. And we're going to be having some new people coming to our podcast as an interviewee, right?
Right.
Next couple of weeks or maybe even next week. We'll have to get the person scheduled, and then hopefully we'll have a new voice on our podcast.
Yeah, that would be great. Okay. Well,
Right.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. And we will see you guys next week.
Make it a great one. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Biz Show podcast. Subscribe to stay updated and follow Barry and Lisa on Facebook at The Biz Show. Share your comments or suggest specific business topics you'd like to hear.